Hello, welcome back to Tavern Talk. I am DM Daddy Mike. Today I am joined by a three named individual. Guess who? Robin Lord Taylor. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, my pleasure, Mike. You know,
we are at opposite ends of New York right now. You are in the beautiful Fire Island Pines, which I'll be there a little bit later this weekend.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll run into each other. But
yes,
how's
neighbors.
it going?
It's going well. It's good. It's you know, it's as you know, as with Fire Island Pines,
Yes.
you know, it's a you know, as I'm sure I'm saying nothing new here to your audience, but just, you know, for clarity, you know, it's a you know, vacation spot that is open, you know, pretty much, I would say 7 months of the year, give or take. And so it's my favorite thing is coming out here early.
Yep.
Quiet, and it's so quiet. But then every day something opens, a store opens, or someone comes out and opens their house, and you get to see this really organic, like sort of like the whole community. It's like a flower. Like the whole community starts blooming, and then you can hear tea, and then you hear the boats going. And it just, and then, and you just sort of like, I'm looking at the beach and it's like, oh, there are umbrellas out today. And it's like, there haven't been umbrellas. Nice, yes, exactly. So it's
funny.
Lovely.
Later today, I'm actually doing another Tavern Talk and it'll come out later. I'm interviewing Bubbles Taboob, who, a little known fact is she and I used to play D&D together. So we'll get into that in another episode.
Well, I see her all the time as I walk to the pantry and there's Bubbles doing her tea and all that stuff, and
can't get rid of her.
She's a legend. She's an institution out here. Please tell her I send my love, but I'll probably do it myself when I go.
Please do. Yes.
Go buy some eggs later.
But yes, you are most well known probably for your role as the Penguin on Gotham. But I'm more concerned with all of your roles on Law and Order at this point. No, it's just funny because I remember seeing your face before I actually knew who you were on Law and Order SVU, because it was just like always on, and I was just like, I recognize this person in one of those episodes. And then it wasn't until like I saw you with first of all, thank you for bringing back my style of closetedness, which was the full-on long black hair over the eye, the lip ring, the tight jeans. But yes, I want to get into it. It's like, because the Penguin, when you played Oswald, you said specifically that you didn't see him as a queer character, or like explicitly gay, but it kind of, you had this relationship with the Riddler. Talk a little bit about like how that evolution came about, because it was so kind of refreshing to see. Like, I saw him as gay. I know that you probably didn't see it, but it was like, ooh, an evil gay character, or at least a complicated, dark gay character, which I really appreciated.
I mean, so just first, like, about like the gay queer aspect, in that, like, when we shot it and when it came out, and then when I was like talking about it on, you know, panels and whatever, you know, like, and also on social media, I got a lot of crap. People being like, I
remember when that happened.
Like, why'd you make the Penguin gay? Why'd you make the Penguin gay?
Because
Penguin's
you did
gay.
it specifically.
Gay. Yeah, like it was like I have that power. But yeah, but I wanted to sort of redirect and say, you know, gay is different than what he was, in the sense that, like, gay to me feels like an identity that I stepped into, or that was like around me, but it's more of like, it's about a community. It's about where I fit in that community. And it also is about messaging to other people what my experience is and where, you know, how I live. That's Robin Taylor's approach to like being gay. Whereas with Oswald, you know, he's a narcissistic sociopath who had been horrifically bullied and, you know, and othered, and for the way he looks, for being an immigrant. You know, that was the story that we were telling whatever that was our canon that we were doing there. But anyway, like, and so when he develops this connection and this, like, and attraction to the Riddler, it's coming out of, it's someone who is so desperate for a connection, for a meeting of intellect, for someone who
On his level.
understands what it means to be other, just like the Riddler in our story did. It's not coming out of like, it wasn't necessarily, so I would say, again, terminology is so hard, and it's so hard to like put words to something that is so mellifluous and so
because
personal to people.
Something different to so many different people,
right?
It's like my queer identity is so different than your queer identity, and
absolutely,
like, where we exist within the same sphere, we may even go to the same vacation spot, but your experience with being queer, my experience, will be maybe on parallel paths but different directions potentially.
Exactly. And so yeah, anyway, like he's definitely and I also didn't want to, I was very or not hesitant, but trepidatious about making another supervillain homosexual or queer, because then it's like some people can then connect and be like, oh, it's because he's queer that's why he stabbed 40 people in the last episode.
I was thinking about that specifically because it was this, I think it's because it was on a television show, is that you get to spend more time with this person, with this character, where I think when it comes to like a movie where if we were just playing him on a film, it would, not that you couldn't make him three-dimensional, but you only have so much time to make him three-dimensional.
So true. Yeah.
Whereas we got to see the evolution of him going in very different directions at very different speeds. It's just like, oh, this is one part of a overall mosaic that makes up who this character is. And it's funny, I'm just getting a call right now from my Fire Island contractor who always butt dials me every single so I'm turning that off.
The sirens aren't going off, so it's not, there's not a fire, so yes. You're okay.
But yes, so it was just, I think the nuance was more able to be seen and experienced with the seasons that you were able to play him.
Yeah,
at least in his queer adjacent. But do you feel resentful that they put you with Corey Michael Smith just because you guys had three names together?
So just mad curious. At that guy.
Not that you're both queer or anything. It's just that you
I'm
both
older
have
than
three
he
names.
is, and I had the three names first. Dang it! No, yeah, he's, and so needless to say, Corey. Well, I need to say that Corey is one of my best friends.
Oh, I love that. I didn't know that.
We connected so deeply on that show, and so also say like we had our first scene together in season 1,
mm-hmm.
and it was sort of, I think it probably like 6, 7, 8 episode in, whatever,
mm-hmm.
and it's like we meet at the GCPD, and it's a very like, it's not a lot of dialogue, but we come face to face and we have this conversation and sort of like scoping each other out. And it's, again, it's the very first time that they meet, but let me tell you, like, and this has been confirmed to me by people who are like producers and writers who were there, that Corey and I just had immediate chemistry, and there was something visual too about mm-hmm. the way that I look and the way he looks that complemented each other.
Yeah. And
I will say, like, it was one of those scenes where the whole crew, everyone's like on their phones usually. Like, they set up the shot, and then lots of people are just sort of sitting around waiting for us to get through it so that they can move the shit, stuff again. Anyway, but everyone just like stopped and like watched, and there was something palpable, mm-hmm. like just in this like nothing scene. And I know that it was, again, like I said, it was confirmed to me later that the people in charge saw that and they were like, that's where this show is going.
I was going to say, like, is that where they pulled it from? They
were like, and so they intentionally wrote us together more. And what I love too is that like we had this really long, like, to your point, like a television show, 22 episodes a season, we had this long time to sort of like develop this relationship and see how it falls apart and then gets back together. And then like, all the way to the finale where he and I are tied up and hanging from a lamppost, like in Wall Street.
Yeah.
So yeah, he anyway. They saw that first moment and they really leaned into that, and I think it was also just a testament to my connection with Corey and my friendship with him, and yeah, it just it was really really amazing.
Well, we appreciate.
And then also too, like, and the other thing that I always think about too is that like when the show came out, it was my first big break, even though I'd been like hacking away at the Law and Orders for several years and scraping by. But then it happened, and I had already been with my husband, now husband Dickie. We'd been together for like 12 years at that point.
Mm-hmm.
We'd been married for three, and so in terms of like not that I ever would, but in terms of like dealing with being fame and
Mm-hmm.
exposure, and then being gay, and how much of yourself do we and we think that it's all the better now, but I could name some names right now and be like, here's an example of why we're still back there.
Yeah.
But for me, I was like, well, it's too late. I can't, I had tried like early in my career to like when I was doing commercials, like there was way in the beginning, and this is like the early 2000, very early 2000s, like where I would like sort of pretend to be straight because I would be playing like some skater dude, like on like a Sunkiss commercial, hanging out with all these other fucking, excuse me, like all these other like we
hit the 11-minute mark, so you're good.
Okay, good. Now I can drop the bombs. And so like I would pretend that I was straight, or I would sort of like dance around it. And like I remember I was like in Canada doing a thing, and the keeping that lie going is just so, it's a nightmare. It just was a nightmare. And
because you can hear it in the back of your head. It's just like you're not,
and then you're
as an
telling
actor, you're not telling the
lies,
full truth. Yeah.
And then you have to build on the lie, and then you find yourself like in this weird thing, and then I was just like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. I just have to like, I can't be around this anymore. So that was like a very early lesson. So like when Gotham came around, I was like, well, I'm fucking married and I'm out. So and so I was always out. And I wonder too, because at some point, like, the writers get so used to your voice and who you are, and they want to bring parts of you into the character because it fits, and it makes it deeper and all of that. So in terms of the queer stuff, I wonder sometimes if maybe just the fact that I was already out and gay and proud and all that stuff.
I mean, it showed in just like the I remember watching the first couple of seasons, and when like you weren't fully like a queer coded character, it was just you, and I was just like, there's something about this guy that he's hiding, that he's holding back. And so I could sense that it was like there was more coming, obviously, but it was, I think that you probably really drew upon that, like, don't tell me how to portray myself or this character, because like within any role-playing game that you play, like TTRPG, it's like there's that bleed that happens. It's like the Robin Lord Taylor bleeds into Oswald and vice versa, and it's, you become that stamped character within that universe. And I do have to say, I remember the very first superhero movie that I ever saw with my dad was Batman Returns with the Penguin and Danny DeVito, and I remember distinctly the scene where he goes to bite off that guy's nose or whatever, and my dad I just remember this moment. I was probably like 6 or 7, where he just grabs my face with his arm to cover it because he didn't know what was happening. It was superhero. So Penguin was always this like very scary character for me, mostly because of the prosthetics and just the sharp teeth. But also my dad decided to get me the poster. It was the one of Michael Keaton, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Danny DeVito with all the penguins on the bottom, and that was on the back of my bedroom door until like I was 16 years old. And so like that white face of Danny DeVito as the Penguin always stared at me, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. So thank you for making the Penguin more approachable for me, more relatable at the very least.
I mean, I like my version of Penguin was actually raised by some humans, so there, it's like a little different. But
and then you didn't do the Spock hands.
Yeah, we didn't do Spock hands. No, it was interesting because like I loved the design, because the design of the show no matter how anybody feels about the show or the whether or not it did Batman justice or whatever, but you cannot deny that that show looks like $1 billion because it cost $1 billion.
Yeah.
And the artisans, the wardrobe, hair, makeup, set, props, lighting, cinematography, top of the line. Like, I don't know if I'll ever be part of something where like the craft that goes into every single,
people cared, you could tell.
It just, and we were always nominated for design awards, which I was so proud of, like, and then also, yeah, like, anyway, but back to like the design of the character, it was such a, it was such a, we wanted to ride that line between, because I was the third in line. I came after Danny. And so the last time people had seen a live action Penguin was Danny DeVito in 1992. And here we are in 2014. And it was just, so finding ways to still, like I had a prosthetic, like, bump on my nose, just to, like, bring it, but very subtle. Like, we, and then, of course, like, the limp. Detail. Right. Yeah, it was cool. Yeah,
cool. No, I was gonna say, I've always been more of a Marvel boy than a DC boy, but it's just so funny because some of my like key connection. I used to intern at Marvel back in the day, and I had a job there, so huge comic book nerd. But like I said, Batman was the first superhero movie I ever saw, and then do you ever have, I'm assuming you do, have gay YouTube nights where you bring all your friends over and you watch stupid YouTube videos?
Yeah, we call it Clips and Boots. I don't know why it's called that.
One of the ones that's always in my rotation is whenever I get the controller, I make everyone watch the series finale of Birds of Prey from the CW.
Yes.
Because I don't know, because my genre is women fighting each other. I just love that. But the reason I think that Heated Rivalry was so successful because they brought tattoos, all the things she said. That was the song playing in the series finale, and I was like, you guys don't understand how good this song is. Flash forward, I'm like, I kept that YouTube video alive with the number of views, and that song, I kept tattoos, bills paid at the very least.
Let's give it up for Tattoo. It's gay pride.
Fake lesbians, we love that.
Are they in Russia? I hope not. Did they get out?
I thought the rumor was that they weren't really lesbians, that they were just like faking. But you know what? Girls kissing each other at a gay bar for Pride is nothing new and different, right?
Come on. Yeah.
Are you doing anything fun for Pride this year?
For Pride, I haven't decided. No, well, so, I mean, we can talk about this later or whatever. But yeah, like, I'm going to be in the city for a reading that I'm doing. And then it's like this weird thing where it's like we could stay and do all the Pride stuff in the city, or maybe come out here and get a couple days, because I have to every year. My husband and I, it is mandatory that we get our butts back to Solon, Iowa, because my mom throws, it's a family reunion party thing, but she drops, a good chunk of change on professional fireworks, like, in our backyard.
Oh, that sounds so fun.
It's like, it's amazing. Because, like, she will outbid the guys who will do, like the town, like, that will do, like, Mount Vernon's fireworks. Like, she'll, like, outbid them and be like, no, just come to my house and do it. And
that sounds so lovely.
It's lovely. So, yeah. So, anyway, we'll figure out where we're going to be. But either way, I'll be gay. So, that's all good.
Yeah, that's all we ask at this point. You're contractually obligated at this point. No, yeah, I'm the same way. Like, we never really plan to go to the parties, mostly just because I'm, like, tired and I can't stay up past 10 p.m. usually. So, I'd rather spend my money on video games at this point in my life.
I get it. I have a loudness thing too. This is getting older. Like, if a place is too consistently loud and I can't, like, step somewhere to get a break or, like, whatever, like, I get overwhelmed really easily. And then I'm like, I don't want to be here anymore.
I mean, I'm right there with you. So, but I mentioned video games. You did a voice on one of my favorite video games, Dishonored. Dishonored, was it both Dishonored? 2?
I did the second one, yeah.
Yes, because you were the outsider. Which what was it like to play one of the bigger games in the last 10 years?
It was amazing. It was truly incredible. I've had some voiceover stuff along the way, very, very, insignificant.
Mm-hmm.
And then this just fell into my lap. They
Wow.
offered it to me, um and voiceover acting is something that I, unfortunately, I mean, it's something that I just desperately want to crack into, and
I heard it's a very hard industry to get
it
into.
is so hard,
Yeah.
so hard. And it's just like, and it's also like, it's a lot of like, it's a lot of like putting yourself out there, but then getting no feedback and being like, am I even on the right page here?
Yeah.
Like,
People already pay you for your voice on screen. Why can't they just pay you for your voice
that's what
off
I'm
screen?
saying. Come on, listen to Mike. No,
Yeah.
so yeah, and as someone who grew up, like, I'm a huge Simpsons fan, specifically seasons 1 through 12.
Okay.
And like, it's a constant rewatch for me. And and then of course, like, yeah, just a big animation fan my entire life. And then so, like, to be finally, like, someone just offered me, and I got to go in the booth, and I got to create a character. And also, like, what I loved was that it wasn't is that I had these really beautiful, long, ponderous speeches that were poetic, and like talking about his spot in the world, and how he, it was really, it wasn't just like the usual, like, or like, hey, like that kind of stuff. It was like,
you do great at those.
Hey, I'll try. I'll do anything. But these long, beautiful monologues, and and then to work with the director so intimately, where it's like, and this is what I loved about it, is that it's so specific, like, in terms of like voice acting anyway, but in terms of just inflection on one word, whether it goes up or whether it goes down, or how do we carry it through to the next sentence. It's like, when it's just your voice, it becomes so specific. It's like, it's singing. It's really, it's singing. It's like you're hitting these marks, and then so the director would just be like, okay, let's like take that down, and then that word, I want you to do that. Where it's like, some actors would be like, oh, I don't want you to micromanage me or tell me that. But for me, I was like, again, it'd be like working with a voice teacher, or like a director of a musical, and he's going to be like, okay, I want you to like do this, and it's like, he's not telling me what to do, he's guiding me to where it's going. And so that collaboration, I wasn't expecting it to be as intimate as it was, and in some ways it was more intimate than screen acting,
Well, it's because it probably boils everything down just to your voice. When you're on the screen, it's like, okay, you're going to stand here for your mark, and you're going to say these words, and you're going to look a certain way, and you're going to move your body a certain way.
Right.
So there's a lot of different things that can be directed when it comes to voice acting.
You can be a lot, like, well, and you should be a lot messier and real, and like, like, make weird noises as humans do on voiceover, especially when you're playing like the outsider, who's like, this otherworldly being who is this lived for thousands of years or something.
Yes.
Like, you don't really have you can't really, like, slur through a word because you're mad or something. It's just, anyway,
and then
it was cool.
To cap off your trifecta of nerdiness, you were also in Walking Dead for a few episodes as well. I remember seeing that. You were the one that, if I remember correctly, you took Rick's watch, or had Rick's watch, and then got like a couple episodes later. But my story that I always tell, I don't think you had any scenes with her, but Emily Kinney was on that show.
I didn't have any scenes with her. We were different seasons, but I have since met her a couple times. We would do like the Walking Dead
tour.
The Walking Dead Comic-Cons were a thing for many years.
Her and my husband did Peter Pan together way back when. Yes. She was his Wendy. I think he was Curly, one of the Lost Boys.
Yeah.
And this is early into us dating. And like I said, huge comic book nerd. I used to work at Forbidden Planet. And we got invited to her birthday party, and it was in Union Square. And I show up there, it's probably like 20 people or something. I don't think she'll even remembers this, but it was a bunch of actors, a bunch of Broadway people, like thespians, if you will. Sure. And this weird skinny nerd walks in with his, twink boyfriend, who's a musical theater actor. and kiss, kiss, hug, hug. And then everyone's like, Emily, what are you doing next? And this is right before she got on, like started doing, she was reading lines. She had just gotten it, but she hadn't filmed anything yet for season 2 of The Walking Dead. And I look at her and I'm like, what do you, everyone's like, The Walking Dead, what's that? That sounds disgusting. And it was a huge comic book. I read everything up until that point. And I looked at her and I'm like, who are you playing? She's like, well, her name is Beth Green. I'm like, great. So you're either going to get killed by zombies coming out of the barn or beheaded by criminals at a prison. And she's like, well, I'm reading scenes for a prison. I'm like, great, you made it to season 3. And everyone's like looking at me. They're like, who is this guy? Anyway, let's move back. But it was just funny because
that is awesome.
Yeah, it's this weird, and you know, she's such a sweet person. We went to go see her when she was here doing her. She had a concert, I think, a couple years ago.
Sweet.
But it's always funny to see actors in the nerd space, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about. Is just like, now you mentioned it before, is that you go to a lot of these cons, and I'd been to cons before. I got my fair share of con crud, shaking hands, meeting people, but we
call it fan butter.
Fan butter. I love that. I'm going to take that too.
Sorry, everyone. Everyone just.
No, but people who've gone to cons, to conventions, Comic Cons, whatever, they know what it's like to be around that many people for that long. But were you a big nerd or any experience with that before you got into these specific roles and went on tour, or is this a new experience for you?
It was primarily a new experience for me, mostly because so like I went through I was a nerd.
We're all nerds in our own right.
Nerds in our own way. Like I was a Garfield, Calvin and Hobbes nerd.
Those count.
Mad Magazine.
Yes.
Regular subscriber to Mad Magazine. I still have them all in Iowa. But yes, and then of course, like as a creative kid, queer kid back then, I fell in with the other nerds, and like there was a period where like we would play some RPG games together. We did. I think I went to, there was like an RPG convention in Iowa City circa 1994 that I went to, and it was like a gym with a bunch of folding tables. You know, it's not what people think in terms of like, Comic-Con, or that. But yeah, like I sort of like I had sort of like found for a couple like really formative years where I really needed community and like and safety connection, that sort of that was in my life at that time, and it was really like it was very helpful at the time. And then I went to Northwestern, and then I'm in theater, and then that all kind of like fell off, but then all these years later I find myself back in this world.
Keep pulling you back in.
Pulling me back in. And
I was just going to say, because there's this, like I said, I've been nerd my entire life, and it's a group of people that are just so passionate about the medium that you're in, whether it's comic books, movies, television, whatever. And they will be your biggest fans or your biggest enemies. And so this is what I've reconciled with as like a queer nerd, is that I'm just like, it's not that serious. Like there's more important things to worry about, but also it's the most important thing in the world. I get why you're so passionate about it, why you can get so angry that this version of the Penguin isn't the right version. But in reality, it's just like, let's take these characters and try and tell a story, because that's all it is just a reflection of society. That's why I'm a huge Star Trek fan, and it gets me really upset when people would be like, it's too woke. I'm like, have you watched the show? It's the first interracial kiss on television, period. Like, it is like, sometimes I get on the case of just being like, oh, we have a special guest. Who's this?
This is Finn. He's almost 19 years old.
Oh my God.
And he is a Velcro cat. So
I love him. He's more than welcome to join. He'll just have to sign an NDA.
Are you okay with that? I'll talk to your people.
But no, it's just like, I was going to ask, what has been like the most profound or important connection that you've seen like with fans at these conventions, or most scary? Like, have you had, I'm assuming you've had some really intense experiences at this point with fans.
I've had some pretty intense experiences, but really that's very, very rare actually. Like, yeah, and even those intense experiences aren't the most intense thing is just is the crowds, and is just yeah, it's the crowds, it's the spaces, it's the noise. It's like, it feels that to me freaks me out more than what anyone could say or write or anything.
You can't fathom that many people at once.
It's really intense. And if you go to some of these cons, like in Atlanta, Dragon Con, it's like, it's not in a convention center only. It's in like all hotels downtown. And they're like these spaces that were not meant for like, 300,000 people to like be walking through in wearing cosplay. But anyway, so that's like a really scary thing. But I will say, like, the most incredible thing, and this was before even the Riddler Penguin storyline had come out, where they had like a possible romantic connection. Well, Penguin was in love with Riddler. It was a one-way thing.
Yes. We've all been there.
Sure, right? But yeah, like, even before that, since I had been out and like I had been like talking about being gay, like, since the beginning of Gotham, and so doing those early cons, like the being the queer nerd fandom has been so wonderful and just beautiful. And I've seen people, I've been all over the world now, and they always come to me, and I've been to places like I've been to China, I've been to Kuwait, I've been to places where and this is not to, I don't want to be controversial, but I don't think it's controversial to say that these countries are not necessarily very gay friendly.
But every country has a risk of queerness not being fully respected or safe.
But then I could see these people would come through my line and come and say hello, and it's like The Shining. It's like, I know, you know, we know, or they're like, I'm a lesbian and I love you, and here's my boyfriends and or whatever. Sorry, I'm mixing up genders intentionally because it's the whole panoply. Like, I have so many trans fans that come and say hello, really? And like, and especially as the trans community, what they have to go through every day in this country and around the world, it's just, that's just been the most powerful, wonderful thing. And it transcends this idea that a lot of people have, that this stuff is frivolous or not important, or is, oh my gosh, he's stuck in my headphones. All right, bye. Anyway, but as I'm saying, the most important thing in the podcast. No, but is that this medium, this that we're talking about right now, the nerddom, fandom, comic book world, all of that stuff is not frivolous. It's a place where people feel, for the first time, maybe ever, feel like they can express themselves and be themselves. And
I think it means something that when you, like you were saying, are purposely not hiding your own personal lifestyle, your own personal sexuality, it allows people to skip that step and come closer to you and be like, he's already out, he already talks about his husband, he's not afraid of playing a gay role, I can feel safe around him.
Yeah.
And it's not the same thing, but this just happened at work for me. I work in a corporate situation, and we just had our intern start yesterday. And I'm, I wear my wedding ring. I have a lanyard that has like our company logo with specifically the rainbow flag on it. I got it for Pride last year. And, people know I'm gay. People know I live my life, but I'm not like saying it. But I purposely try and wear these things to at least allow this. Now this intern, very clearly gay. Like, I was just like, I see you. And it was that moment where I came up and I shook his hand, and he's probably like in his 20s or something like that. It's just like, oh, I don't have to feel like we instantly connected. And it was like, okay, even though we're of different generations at this point, I felt like, okay, that is one less step I need to take to connect with this person. and he feels a lot safer at work now. I would hope. Mind you, we're also in a team. It's me and a team full of women and him. So it's just like,
love it.
It's
Love
really
it.
easy.
Yeah.
There's this meme going around that I've seen.
like...
Is like when you're the only guy in a team full of women, and it's that line from Paris Hilton. She's like, and you're all princesses, and there's a guy in the back that's just like, yay!
Yay!
That's what it feels like with my team. So I'm just like very, very fortunate. But no, I think not being afraid to show your queerness out loud is, it's a testament no matter where you go. And I think because you have that platform, you've done a pretty good job at that.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been an honor. It's been amazing.
In terms of other types of queerness, I hear you're a Vampire the Masquerade fan.
Yes. So as I was alluding to before, when I was in the 90s, my friends, one of my friends, was really into Vampire the Masquerade, and he also played D&D,
mm-hmm.
but he stepped up to be oh my god, now I'm gonna embarrass myself because I'm gonna forget the terminology, but he stepped up to be the game runner, the
game master.
Thank you. Sorry. Showrunner is TV.
Showrunner.
Game master is RPG.
Yeah.
But yeah, he would be the game master, and he turned us all on to Vampire the Masquerade, and yeah, I had two characters.
Tell us everything about them.
Okay,
if you can remember.
Yeah. So they're I forget all of the clans of vampires.
Yeah, there are a few clans.
There's some clans. There's a Nosferatu thing,
mm-hmm.
and then there's a wolf thing, I think.
The Lycans.
Yeah, there we go. And then there's and the one I liked, of course, was I think it's called Toreador, and it's the artist.
Mm-hmm.
It's an artist clan of expressive, yes,
sensitives,
right. And so I think one of my characters was a guy who was in that clan, but he was a writer, he
mm-hmm.
was an investigative writer who got vampired. And so that was one character.
I think is the word.
Sired. Yeah. Oh my god, I remember flashbacks about this. I haven't really thought. I haven't talked about this in a long time. Which is really.
We're gonna get
kind
you back
of amazing.
Into it. It's falling off. It's like falling off a bike.
There we go. I mean, yeah. It's falling off a bike is good. My other character though, and this is kind of what I'm obsessed about, was there was an offshoot of the Toreador,
mm-hmm.
because they would have sub clans or sub whatever, and there was one that I forget the name of what they were called, but they were specifically singers, and it was this clan of vampires who had crazy music abilities, and so on your stat chart,
mm-hmm.
You would have it you would have extra, you would go all the way, and these people, these vampires, that was their biggest power in sense.
They were basically bards.
They're bards, and they could use that to enchant, and they could use it to manipulate and all of that stuff. And so I had a character, and her name was Arabella. And she was yeah, and I would, and my role in the game, she was like an opera star, but also but still okay. So this will answer it. So you pick images of what the character looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, 1994, and I also was a full-time subscriber to Rolling Stone, and I discovered Liz Phair, and
oh god, I can already see where this is
freaking
going.
Lost my mind over her. And I still, oh god, those the best. She's amazing.
So you just played Liz Phair as a vampire.
So I just cut out all the photos of Liz Phair and made her this character, but not but I think also I did make it so that my character was also a guitar grunge singer of that era, and so, but also at the same time an opera singer. So anyway, that was,
you could be anything you want.
But I could be but the way I would do the character is I would just I would let all of my repressed gay stuff, and I know it's gender stuff that I'm talking about, but it was really just a way for me to be flamboyant, and I would do the whole thing, and I would be like, just a full on like flamboyant, opera star that looked like
Mm-hmm.
Liz Phair,
I
who's so
love that.
beautiful.
No, I have this big like. I think the reason I love D&D so much, or just any role playing game like this, is that it gives players an excuse, or people an excuse, to just not take themselves too seriously
Yes.
and like express parts of themselves in a safe way. I had a
Mhm.
DM, a dungeon master, a long time ago tell me every character you play is just a version of yourself that you can't fully express on a regular basis. So if you want to play that like bitchy elf character that doesn't care about anyone, is constantly drunk and flirts with women, it's just like, hey, you can do that. If you want to be the stoic, like muscle bound god that likes to punch people in the face but also likes to bake on the side, you can do that. And it's not like none of your friends are going to call you out on it, because it's like, no, that's what the game is telling us to do. And I think that's why I really liked, I'd only played Vampire the Masquerade probably like 4 or 5 times in my life, but the difference between that and D&D is that it really emphasizes the role play. Combat is what you shouldn't be getting into, because there's the whole you have to hide the vampire side of the world. So it's about like sneaking and negotiation
Mhm.
and making deals, which is I think, combat is always like a fun thing to do, I think, as a game in terms of collaboration. But I think really sensitive people can get into the idea of like, let's collaborate in um, having a conversation about what our characters are doing. It's acting in a way.
Oh,
Um,
I was just gonna say, there
yeah.
are people who, and I am probably one of those people, that what your friends said about role playing and how it's really just different facets of yourself,
Yeah.
it's the same really
It's
with
the exact
acting.
same
It's
thing.
the
Yes.
same. It's, and like you said, it's like no one questions it because this is the game, and let's just replace the word game with play or
Yeah.
with script. And also, I will say too, my relationship at that time to role playing was very similar to my relationship to acting,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. But the similarity is that I was a small, closeted, uh, and I don't want to put value on this, but like a rotund child who, and I'm only saying that because I was othered for that,
Mm-hmm.
as well as like being gay
It
and
was your
being
experience.
being sensitive, and and all of that. And so like and this is in semi-rural Iowa
Mm-hmm.
in the 80s and 90s, and I was so afraid, and I was so like, and so like in my day-to-day life I would really try and disappear. Like I
Mm.
would wear like big clothes, and I would like, just, yeah, I would just try and like be as not as except for like with my friends, but like
Yeah.
just in general, just try and like not be an entity.
You wanted to be
Because
seen by the people that were going to see you for who you were, not make assumptions about who you were. And
right.
it's easier to do that with friends, obviously, but the role play part can kind of break those things down. It's like, maybe it's not your friends, but you're the friend of a friend who you're like, oh, I can test this out almost in a way as a young kid. But also now as adults, I think we were talking about like the fear of play, almost the fear
Hmm.
of like letting your guard down as a queer person, especially in queer locales like New York City or Fire Island. I think there's a mask that a lot of people wear, and they kind of, you can't let it go. Which
Yeah, the guys who are like too cool for school and so afraid of being judged, so afraid of being judged that they're doing all kinds of crazy things to themselves
yeah, and
because
it's
they don't want to be, and it's just sad. Like, yeah,
yeah,
it's the
but
fear of looking stupid, as
it's
if that's
being stupid is what brought me a lot of my friends. So
right.
I encourage people, if Robin Lord Taylor can play Vampire the Masquerade, anyone can play it.
That's
So
right. And and again, like I was able to like express myself in a safe place with safe people
mhm.
in the middle of, you know like oppressive Iowa post AIDS crisis. You know what I
Well,
mean? And
yeah.
it was just I think back before, again, I'm old, so it's like no, like, minimal internet.
Hmm.
Um and yeah, just the discourse about what that all of those things were was just
It's
so
hard not to
scary.
internalize it and just be like, is this wrong? Am I wrong?
Right.
Am I doing the right thing?
Right.
It's, if you're doing it in a pretend fashion, then there's no risk to it, but you
For-
still get
for-
to exercise that muscle.
For 3 hours on a freezing cold Saturday night in the middle of Iowa, I could like just be fucking anyone. I could be anyone. I could be. And
speaking of fucking anyone, you have a new show coming out, a new production coming out at the Eagle called Mr. Leather 1976.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that and what we can look forward to.
It's a one night only benefit reading. But you know, as these things go, it's a brand new play that my amazing friend Zachary Grady wrote. So we're doing this reading to raise money for the AIDS ride, but we're also doing this to get some eyeballs on this thing and come on, to do a play about the leather scene in 1976 and to do it at the Eagle. Come on. Like I got
really fun.
My girlfriends are all coming to the Eagle. They're so excited. You know, yeah. So anyway, but the play is excuse me. The play is about the leather scene in 1976, and it's about what that community is now or was then, and how, you know, and just really shining a light on something akin to like what we were just saying, where it's like from the outside people can look at the leather scene as being like performative or like strange or like silly even, but really what it is it's a safe place for these people to express themselves and to express this side of them and express it in a time where there was no language for this. I mean, there was, but it was underground. It was secret. And and so the play itself, it's hilarious. It's heartwarming. It feels like a throwback to those wonderful plays from that time period written by like, I think of, and I don't like to compare plays to plays, but in this case, like, because it's a gay play, you know, it's part of that collection. It's part of that world. And so like, I think of Terrence McNally, I think of Nikki Silver, like all these just amazing gay playwrights that really paved the way for where we are now. And so this play has a real throwback feeling to that kind of that theater. But then it revolves around this group of guys who are in the scene, and they're all gearing up for the Mr. Leather 1976 pageant.
Really funny. So a couple months ago, I did a shoot for Nasty Pig at the Eagle.
Yeah.
And it was really eye-opening because we did it during the day. Nobody was there. And you kind of forget when you go to the Eagle how much history that specific building has. When you talk about like the pageant, if you will, and I never really paid attention to the pictures at the Eagle when I would go there because it was always dark and loud and crowded. But when I got the opportunity to just kind of walk around and look at these pictures, it's just like, no, there are history of men and queer people and everyone in between who have made a community there, who may not even still be alive, but they've helped build these walls to kind of be like, yes, I may be part of the leather scene, the kink community, just the queer, the drag community, or a combination thereof of anything else, where I'm just like, to stop and look at those pictures and to have to understand the history that building has is important. And the fact that you get to do that, I think, is a really big deal. And it's sold out now. So
it's sold out. We sold out in like 5 hours or something. Like we just like hit it hard, but we have a wait list coming. And so I'm sure there's a whole block that they're going to release. And
so get on that wait list, go and see
Mr. Leather 1976.com, please.
Yes. We'll put it on, like, we'll put it here or or
anywhere.
One of those places. So one of the things I'm excited for that. Hopefully I get on the wait list as well. And everyone else does too. And when we see you on Broadway doing this whole thing, it's going to be amazing. Get the Tony.
I tell people too, this is a joke that I have, that I was joking with Zachary Grady, who wrote the piece. And I don't know if you saw Liberation on Broadway, but it was a play. It's been nominated. It was just absolutely wonderful, and it's about women's liberation in the 70s, and about a group of women who come together to meet and talk about that. And Like, and it's it's all women, and we're not all men. We have one female in our cast as well, but
Representation.
there's one male in the Liberation cast, but
Yeah.
it's a weird, interesting flip, and so the joke is like, yeah, this is just the gay liberation. Because we're talking. It's interesting though, because Liberation talking, it's not the same, but our play also is about a community of people who are finding ways to express themselves, to live freely, to be liberated. And even though our show is, it's at a leather bar and it's hilarious and there's music and songs and all of this stuff, it has that same sort of core. So anyway, that's just a plug. I'm just going to plug the show for until we get it on Broadway.
Yes, it's going to get there. I can feel it. So we're coming to the end of the pod, but the thing I have everyone do who's not a player at my table at D&D is you're going to help me create a non-player character that will exist within the world at some point. So this is kind of very free form. It's like you can take one of your vampire characters if you want, just plop her in there, or if you want to build like some sort of orc or elf or gnome, and then we just kind of work on kind of what that person is or how they function in the world.
I knew that we were going to do this, obviously, and I just can't help but think about these things, and so I've been chewing this over like the last couple days, like, and it's so fun to think about because I also love, like, you guys. I don't know who does it, but you guys have such great art of
Calvin.
Calvin. Props to Calvin. Like, and so like I was thinking, I was like, will Calvin like do one of me?
We could ask him. We could totally ask him.
I'll commission him. But anyway, like, so what is my character going to be? Obviously, it's a bard. I mean, I have to keep that aspect. I was thinking like a bard, and then maybe someone who, but he uses that ability to collect intel from whomever, and he can also use it to distract. So if you guys are, coming up on a big bunch of smelly ogres or something, and you got to take their stuff, you call me in. I like walk from behind a tree, sing a fucking amazing song, put them all to sleep. There we go, like that kind of thing.
Yes, I can picture you already as a rival to Andy Mientis's character, who is also a bard.
Well, that makes perfect sense.
Yes,
I mean, come on, Andy and I, we like, yeah, we are in the same world. So.
Yes, no, he does a lot of. I'm envious of his ability to kind of pull out accents at a moment's notice because I'm still learning these things. But it's always funny that a lot of the actors I know kind of always lean towards the half elf bard, and I think it's just something obviously it's performative.
It's just right there.
We can make it like a little bit more goth. Maybe he has the penguin swoop over his face. And
totally.
He plays dirges instead of like upbeat pop.
Plays dirges instead of upbeat. Oh yeah, let's go like towards like The Outsider. Like
yes.
Like towards that sort of look where it's like he plays dirges and he's a
little goth. He's
goth. He's also like, is he good? Is he bad? Yeah, I like that because obviously Andy's good because Andy's just a good guy. So I'll be the the shadow.
The shadow version. Do you see him as an elf, or do you see him like a minotaur or something, or some sort of like?
I see him like humanoid.
Okay.
But there's something, and now I'm just remembering. God, you're bringing all these old like memories, like the dusty box in the back of my brain. Yeah, exactly. I used to go to a lot of Renaissance fairs with my friend.
Oh my gosh!
Back in the day.
We don't have time to talk about this.
I know. But my favorite accessory that I bought there was this really cute like ceramic with like a twine like band through it, but they were just two little horns that like were right there.
So you'd be a tiefling.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So I just picture like a black and white tiefling with like maybe like a light colored tiefling, but you have like the dark circles under your eyes with makeup, and you have the dark horns, and you're just like brooding and sad. What's his name?
Oh shit! Oh, excuse me.
We can also just go to the fantasy name generator if you want.
I might have to do that.
All right.
You're gonna have to get back to me on the name. Why didn't I think of the name? Damn.
Well, it could be just like shadow or like shade or umber.
Yeah.
Just one word, like a Madonna.
How about just outsider? Is that IP?
Yeah. No, no. We
Let's
can do it.
Outsider.
Yeah, let's just do Outsider, and he is just a sad boy that plays dirges.
Outsider Cobblepot. How about that?
I'm sure that's not taken. Yes, so thank you. We'll be looking out for Outsider Cobblepot.
There we go.
An upcoming episode of Goblin Guys and Claim to Fame, and then maybe Calvin will draw it for us as just a sad boy.
Come on, Calvin.
Thank you so much. Do you have anything else you want to plug or anything else you want to announce?
No,
here now exclusively.
Just vote, freaking vote. Gosh dang it.
Please do. It's Pride. Exercise your voting
Go call
muscles.
your family in Iowa, for example.
Oh,
like, all this stuff is flipping. Like, just get out there. Yeah.
I do have to admit, I don't know if you've seen the Necessary Conversation podcast of those two liberal kids talking with their two MAGA parents.
I've never seen that. Wow.
It pops up in my feed all the time. It is just like the most, I mean, I love my parents. I'm very blessed that they're very open and understanding and kind of supportive of me and my lifestyle and my husband and everything. But like these two kids, they're adult children, and they were like, they started this podcast because they knew that, hey, we're going to cordon off political discussion for the podcast. We do not talk about it anywhere else, but we talk about it here. And they get out those knockdown, drag out fights. The father is so mean and so like just dismissive. And I can't stop watching because the mother, you can tell, has this like glimmer of understanding where she's slowly getting it. And I'm like, this has to be a bit. This has to be fake. It's like, you can't write this stuff where it's just like, it's so I don't want to use the word
almost cliche.
It feels cliche, but it feels cringe because I'm just like, oh, like these people actually exist, and it's really uncomfortable to watch this. But you're right. It's like you have to have these conversations with the people closest to you because they're going to listen to you, or at least feel obligated to listen to you at the very least.
Either way, they're hearing it. And, it won't be just the whatever freaking echo chamber they're subscribed to.
Challenge them and be challenged yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you again for doing this.
Thanks, Mike. What an honor.
Are you kidding me? It's an honor for me. I hope to see you out in Fire Island. You can see Robin Lord Taylor walking the boardwalk back and forth, talking to Bubbles to Boob all summer long.
That's right.
But also go check out Mr. Leather 1976 this Pride Month. What day is it?
It's the 18th.
The 18th.
I don't know what day of the week that is, but the 18th of June.
18th of June. Sounds good. We'll see you there.
All right. Awesome. Thanks, Mike.
Have a good one.